Alright, so in today's video we're going to be replacing the spindle and blades and fixing the deck belt on a Craftsman T100 36-inch mowing deck. The customer complaint was that the spindle fell apart, and that was due to extremely wore-out blades. This system almost uses a timed style cutting blade, but it's not timed. But if you hit something and the blade twists on the little S pattern, it's out of time. So anyways, let's go on with the repair. So first thing we got to do is get rid of the spindle covers. Now this little 36-inch deck takes taller covers than the 42s and so on. And as you saw, the new spindle there, that was an S-shaped pattern. It's actually an aftermarket spindle that I was able to source. So we're going to get rid of this spindle cover, so that gives us access to the whole deck. We're going to flip it over and we're going to take this out. It's 3/8. They almost look like 12-point bolts, but they're not. And if you're curious to what I blurred out, it was a label with my business name on it that was on the ground that I didn't realize. So I'm going to sneak the new spindle underneath the mower deck. This is the way I normally do it. You just have to kind of twist it in there. I'm going to grab all the screws. And once I get one or two started, you can generally let go of it. It's not going to hurt nothing. And all the spindles that I've bought that are aftermarket come threaded and with their own hardware, which I recommend using. The OEM MTD spindles almost never come pre-threaded. And if you don't know how to cut threads in aluminum spindle housings, you're asking for problems. And also that S-shaped pattern, you cannot interchange on a 36-inch with the star pattern. You can on a 42, 50, and 54, and 46. So I'm looking for a bolt. I imagine that's what I was doing. This video, at the time of recording, it is November 12th, and I'm editing this, and this was recorded on November 4th. So it's been some time. So you're going to get the bolts in there just right, because you don't want to cross-thread nothing, because it's a steel bolt going into aluminum, and you don't need to use Loctite, because those are, I call them ridged bolts. They're kind of like one of those nuts that's got, I call it little burrs on the end of it that bite down into the metal. I forget what those are called. And I think I'm looking for impact with a different socket, because this is a metric bolt, because it's the aftermarket part, and it takes 13 millimeter, which that's exactly what I have on there. And I can put these in with an impact because I've been doing this over 20 years and I know what I'm doing. If you don't feel comfortable, and that noise you hear is my old computer chair that I'm sitting in. If you don't feel comfortable using an impact, you do not have to. You can do it by hand. It's not going to hurt nothing. It's just personal preference, and like I said, I've been doing it long enough to where I know where to stop when using the impact so I don't break bolts off. Because if you shear the bolts off, it's pretty much over with. So I have no idea what I'm doing in the background. Looks like I'm looking for something. I did finally move that shipping label, as you will see in the next part. Let's see here. Blades. Okay, so these are aftermarket blades. They're the green, cheap blades that don't hold up, but that's all I could get at the moment. Because the OEM MTD 36-inch blades are very expensive. And as you can see, this aftermarket spindle had a problem. This is why I always say on MTD products, go OEM. It's not the blade, it's the spindle. But that little diamond shape pattern, that will interchange with the S shape. These aftermarket blades are significantly cheaper than the OEM blades. The OEM blades at everyone's favorite big box store is like $60 a set. The aftermarket that I put on there, I sold for $22 per blade, which is $44 a set. But I don't like those green blades. And as you've seen there, those were rip-resistant gloves, and they ripped. Those were the, I think the Venom steel gloves or whatever. They're supposed to be the best Now that blade fit perfectly, so that told me it's not the blade, it's the spindle, so beware on that. And the 36s do not use a washer underneath the flange bolt. The other ones do. The 42s do, and the 46s I know do. Alright, so we are moving on to fixing the deck belt. And just like that, like magic, the deck is flipped over and all that fun stuff. Alright, I cut out some of the frustration that I encountered getting the wrench on the bottom end of the bolt, so you have to take this belt guide completely off. And they do not use a square head bolt, unlike Husqvarna. And I have to get kind of serious with it now because it is in an aggravating spot that you cannot see. Like I said, the wrench keeps slipping off, so be prepared to use choice words or fight with it, but I have loads of patience. Like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time. So I zipped that off, and we're going to pull that belt guide out. It's a beefy belt guide they use on this little deck, and this is the original belt. It was in perfect shape. So I'm going to route it. This is very easy. It is almost foolproof. But I have seen people put this belt on completely wrong and destroy pulleys and belts and everything. So that is how the belt goes on. It is very easy. It reminds me of those old 38-inch Murrays from like back in the 90s and 2000s. The 40-inch Murrays, 42s. Belt routing is similar. Also, your brake pads. You want to check those because you see the distance between the pulley and the spindle. Once the pad wears down, those pulleys can hit and basically beat each other up and cut your belt in half. Those brake pads from MTD are like almost $100 a piece. It's ridiculous, but you can get them online aftermarket from everyone's favorite major online retailer. As you know, on this channel I do not mention online places because I do this for a living, and I always recommend supporting your local small businesses. Well, this is one thing that I do for a living. This is more just a fun hobby than anything. So as you see, I cut the camera there because I got aggravated, but I got the wrench up under there, and I'm looking for the belt guide. Belt guide is on, and make sure it's in that slot. Put the nut on, and I've got one heck of a grip on that wrench under there to make sure it does not come off, because like I said, it's not fun to put on. We're going to hit it with the impact. Like I said, I know when to stop, but you can use hand tools. It's no big deal. Alright, now we're going to put the elusive belt cover on. These things like to break off, so if your belt cover is broken, you're going to need new ones. No, you cannot run an MTD built equipment without the belt guide or belt covers on, because they act as the belt guide or belt keeper for the spindle pulleys. So end user beware, as I like to call it. If you run it without them spindle covers, it's going to throw the belt every time, almost guaranteed. Those spindle covers for the 36 are taller than the 42s and the 46. I think it's the 50s or the 54s that fit this. I have no idea, but I'm just the person that fixes it. And there's our completed project. So I hope you all enjoyed something, or I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something. It's late at night when I'm editing this, so I do apologize. I don't feel like re-recording this voiceover, but there will be plenty more videos like this to come. And to answer a question, the reason I do voiceovers is because I have two helpers, and one of them likes to have a radio going, and the other one is just very loud in general, so you wouldn't be able to hear me talk if I, did repairs like this without having to do a voiceover. So anyways, I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.